Yeah, that was one of the first things that came on the. Okay, guys, we're live. We're live. So our says is Donald Trump aftermath. Good, bad, and ugly. How does it affect you? So has it affected any of you guys him being in office yet? Because it's definitely affected me in ways that I really can't talk about right now. It has affected me as far as, my future, my insurance, my 401k, my job. It has affected me. So has it affected anybody else? Or do they anticipate anything changing in their lives? You want to say anything? I'm in this by myself.
Val, I'm having a hard time hearing you, honey. Let me see. I'm fixing to pull into my house. So let me see. Once I get inside, it might be better.
Okay, I'll try again. So I was just saying, I don't know if you guys were able to hear me. I was just saying that
I hear you.
Yeah,
the
that's
topic
better.
is, Donald Trump, the aftermath. Since he's been in office, we're talking about the good, the bad, the ugly. And please just jump in, because I would like to know if it affected anybody except me, with the exception of me, because it has affected me dramatically. Has it affected anyone else? Or do you anticipate affecting you? Nobody want to comment?
Well, no, I'll say something.
I'm sure it will. I would food
Mm-hmm. With food prices.
I have a friend that he gets stuff from China, so that's a joke.
Mm-hmm. It's affected my household as far as making groceries. I mean, we went from spending like $300 to almost $500 or $600. So it's affected our household as far as making groceries. It's just everything. Anybody else?
I mean, gas is still
up. It hasn't gone up that much, but for me, like I said, it has affected me. In the job aspect of it, it has affected me.
The news coverage alone,
Just
everything is as dramatic as it can be.
And then nobody really seems to want to talk. They complain, but nobody really wants to talk about it. And it is something to really discuss, because where do we go from here? Where will we be 6 months from now?
I've never seen so many people kicked out of like White House coverage or, um, covering news stories. Everything is now screened, or it's crazy to me.
I mean, the amount of people that have lost their jobs within the past few months is just crazy.
Since January 20th.
Since January.
Most people say since January 20th.
Look at the Health and Human Services the other day. I was watching that. I really didn't know if that was something I was watching, that happened years ago, or was it right now? When I looked at it, it's people who were thousands of people were showing up for work and couldn't even get in, was being told that they didn't have a job. So that's really scary.
Very scary.
What do you think, Ira? Are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I seem to be, and I seem to be in this party by ourselves. I don't know what's going on. We seem to be here just hosting by ourselves.
Oh, okay.
I can hear you, Iris.
Okay, good. No, I was just going to say that a lot of people and I'll just say a lot of people around me, very close to me, have had, if they have not lost a job, well, then they've had some sort of negative impact on their job. So, in other words, like one of my close girlfriends, she let's see, how was it? She works for the state of Texas. So, and some people might not say, oh, this is no big deal, but she's worked remote, for like years. And then all of a sudden, because of, different things about her job, cutbacks, etc., she's been having to come in, and which is just a drastic thing. I know the same with my brother. He is in management at Dell, and he has had to, make a lot of different shifts in his job, how he does his job, because of the different, impacts from Trump's administration. And again, yeah, we can all talk about the prices of groceries. I know another person's 401k has been severely hit.
Oh,
I
that's
have not looked.
another thing.
Yeah, yeah. I've not looked at mine. I'm kind of scared to look at it, but I'll look at it in the morning. But, so these things are real things that are impacting people. I know my daughter will be going to UT in the fall, and I just pray that, able to kind of support that for the next 4 years. Just never know how with him and his executive orders, what is he going to is he going to try to make an impact so that federal student loans are no more? I know I kind of financed my whole master's degree program from federal student loans, so it's just a lot. I fear. Well, I'm trying not to walk in the spirit of fear, but I know that things are just going to get more worse. We have to remember that, any biblically minded people, but this is all a part of God's prophecy. This is all playing out in the Bible, so
Right,
this,
we read that
whatever
book.
is happening is, yeah, I mean, y'all might really want to start paying attention, because this is all a part of God's plan, all these tariffs. No, the Bible's not going to say, oh, yeah, and tariffs are going to happen. But no, it's not going to be worded like that. But, other ways that it is being spoken of, in the Bible. So, we just need to stay prayerful, stay connected to people, stay being in the spirit of wanting to help people. I'm a single mom. I don't walk in the spirit of fear, but I just have to be hopeful that, I will continue to have a job, things like that. So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. And also, I was going to say, and then I'll shut up, but please reach out to, a therapist, or, I'm a therapist, so I'm big on mental health. Please reach out to people for help. People are walking around out here in these streets thinking that they got to hold everything in and that they can just manage on their own. But no, you need to be able to talk to people. You need to, which is why I'm so grateful that Val, you do these podcasts, because this is an outlet for people. But you can reach out to me. I talk to people all the time who are going through stress, anxiety, and things of that nature. And this is just only going to get more. It's going to only begin to more affect people more closely. Oh, and another thing, I have a teacher friend who was telling me that she may not have a job next year because of the number of students, and I might not be saying this correctly, but the number of students that have been deported, has meant that they've had to let go of certain teachers, certain programming for next year. So it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot.
But I was gonna say my aunt, she's a principal in Waller ISD, and she let go a whole department because a lot of her students have been deported or their families have been deported.
That's a Shayla. You can't see her, but she's talking. But she's here. Iris, you still there?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. It's affected me a lot for one reason. There are some things I can't express or talk about right now, but it is going to affect me significantly after April. So I don't know what the future holds. I really don't. And it's kind of sad. I wonder, you can say, some people can say, things have been good for them since Trump's been in office. But I can say at the same time, I don't even know, if Vice President Harris, if she would be in office, I really don't know what the outcome would be. I certainly know it would be a lot better than this. It's just that it's kind of like scary right now to know what your future is going to be. Not, shall I say, not know what your future is going to hold. So I don't know. I know that Tammy's just got a new job. It's hard for her at the school. I don't know if it's hard for you, Meredith, at your school, or anything's going on in your life. But for some of us, it's
my school. Mhm. My school is fine. I was trying to do some research this weekend about the tariffs. And of course, anytime you Google tariff, it only comes up about Donald Trump and tariffs. But I did hear on the news this morning that China puts taxes on U.S. goods coming into their country, on their imports from the United States. And it's like
Canada as
36%,
well.
or,
Canada
a
as
very
well.
large number. So it gave me, I guess, some peace knowing that we're not the only country doing this, so it's like, okay, so Canada taxes U.S. goods, China taxes U.S. goods. So, I mean, there has to be a reason that Trump is doing this, and maybe he has a plan. So maybe in 4 years we'll go, oh, okay, now we get it. Is it to make us make more American made goods and to, make us buy, United States cars or United States products, or whatever it is? But you were right. Right now, in this moment, many people are losing jobs, or people that we know are losing jobs, and it doesn't make sense. But is it to make everybody buy American made products and not, like as my own children say, wait, why does everything say made in China or made in Taiwan? Maybe it's to make us make American products again. I don't know. I try
I
to
don't
think
know
of it
either.
like
If
that.
it's to make us make American product, who's going to be having money to buy it? Who's going to have a job to, make America purchase the items?
Well,
I
right,
don't
but
know.
that's like to make us like do factories again and make the products in America. Like to make the Ford trucks or the Chevy trucks, to
Hmm. What do you think, Ms. Rowe?
and
Hello? Rowe, are you there?
I wonder if her mic is muted.
I'm here.
There
Just had to
she
step away
is.
for a minute. First
So what
of
do you
all,
think, Candy?
about the tariffs, they're illegal.
Mhm.
Congress has to approve all tariffs. And Donald Trump and the new administration just totally ignore our Constitution. And nobody seems to care about it.
You're absolutely right. I don't think there's.
Damn straight I'm right.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
his
Tell 'em, bro.
plan, which every economist with a brain has said could never work and is going to it's going to increase inflation, and then it's going to put us in a huge recession. It is crashing the stock market. All these are facts. I mean, you can see it on TV. And his plan is that it's going to force America to make things in America and people to buy goods from America. You know how long it's going to take to build factories and to get this plan into action? It takes 5 to 10 years.
And by that time, we'll
I
probably be in
might
a
be dead
depression.
by then.
Yeah. That's the thing. People are out of jobs. My sister's in oil and gas, and she's up every single morning before I leave at 4 o'clock in the morning. She's checking her 401k. She's checking everything because, like you say, things like that take years. And when you start to try to put those type of things in place, you forget about the working class people, the people who have the jobs that are losing their jobs. Even if you have people building things and making things, trucks and cars in America, who's going to be able to afford them? Who's going to be able to buy them after you've been out of work?
Does everybody know what's behind all the shit that he's doing, firing all these people in Washington? The whole reason he's doing it is so they can renew his $3 trillion tax break that he had during his first administration, because it expires this year. And on top of that, they want to add another $4 trillion tax break, and it will only be for the rich. The less you make, the more you're going to be paying in taxes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
And that is fact. You can read it, it's fact. And the people behind him are our government, are idiots. Robert Kennedy is telling people to take vitamin A and cod liver oil, and it'll protect them from the measles. So now they have children in the hospital overdosing on vitamin A.
Mm-hmm.
And another child died today from measles.
But Candy was telling us about President Obama. And I didn't get to see it. I'm going to go back and try to see if I can watch it. I told her, give us some heads up on what he was talking about yesterday.
He said he wants to know if any of this stuff would have been allowed when he was in office and what people's reaction would be and how it's different. He's like, none of this would have taken place.
Hello?
I
I
how
saw
would
that.
anybody felt if he had done any of this?
Right.
Can you hear us, bro?
I can now. I lost you for a minute.
Okay. Can you repeat that, Candy?
President Obama said, would any of this have been allowed when he was in office?
Oh, no. You got
And he said, no,
absolutely not.
none of this would have been allowed. Not just a bipartisan thing, but just in general. Like,
No way, Jose.
just his reaction alone. And people were laughing in the audience. Just, it was sad to see.
So what do you think, Iris?
I mean, I just saw a clip of that as well, and yeah, it's so true. I mean,
I didn't see it. What was it on?
yeah, what was that, Candy? I just saw a reel, like it was him making that speech, or that talk. It looked like he was just having a talk with I don't know.
Yeah, he was on a news network talking about it and not letting certain news networks in and how that affects the White House overall. Let me see where it was actually done from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, definitely, it's just so much of a loaded kind of, dynamic. It's almost not even worth talking about, but, because that's just pure, yeah, it's just racist. So, I just, I don't know. I guess it's really neither here nor there, but I do just wonder, and Meredith, I'm not, this is not directed to you, but just please know that this is not, but I'm just wondering if any Trump supporters in any way, can have any sort of, oh shit, kind of thing. I mean, I know in the last podcast we were talking about, he may have spent the last 4 years planning to, shoot out all these executive orders. This is maybe he was thinking about doing these things if he were to make, to get into the presidency again. Okay, so, I kind of go back to my point, like, well, could he be doing anything? Could he have been planning anything of oh, this is going to affect a lot of people. Maybe, we need to have some services in place to whereas, people won't be losing their job. I mean, people who lose their jobs, they will have this backup plan that I can create, so
There is no backup plan.
there's no backup plan, and it just sucks. And I just wish there was just like one Trump supporter. And again, Meredith, I'm not putting you on the spot. Please don't take that in this way. But I just wish there's one Trump supporter that would just say, you know what, this is really bad, But that's neither here nor there,
You know what? Trump supporters were in the protest yesterday. There were a lot of people from MAGA and Trump supporters who joined that protest yesterday. Hands off. Millions of people in every major city in the U.S., all 50 states, were part of that protest. And for those who don't know, Elon Musk is a Nazi. And there's one thing I know about, it's Nazis.
Well, there are quite a few people that have voted for him.
How can you say that Elon Musk is a Nazi?
He is a Nazi. His grandparents were under the Hitler regime and served under Hitler proudly. They moved in 1944 to Africa, South Africa, because because of Hitler they saw what was coming, that the United States government was going to overthrow Hitler and Germany. They became part of the apartheid movement in it. And he is admittedly part of the new neo-Nazi party in Germany and actually financed their campaign. That's how I can say it. He is a Nazi. And I'm Jewish, so believe me, I know Nazis.
There are a lot of people that voted for him that are now saying that they wish they had not voted for him, that he turned their backs on them. And a lot of them are women and Hispanics that, you see it every day. I was looking at CNN and they were talking to people who actually voted for him and thought that he was going to do great things for the country. And then now they're saying that a lot of them that was with the Health and Human Services that don't have a job now that they regret even voting for him. So I'd like to know, I know Meredith, you think that there's some good things that he's done. I'd like to know what good things, in your opinion, that you think that he's done for us since he's been in office that's going to help us.
I think he's done great things on stopping the criminals that have come across the border and really putting, those people immediately into prison and stopping that. And it's really only been 3 months. And what he ran on, he has been true to his word and has put those things into action. So everything that he said he was going to do, he is following through on that. And majority, he won the votes and he is following through on what he said he was going to do. And the background, I'm in a parking lot. So let me let the sirens go by. 2017 to 2020, he did well and my pocketbook did well. So yes, right now, stock market is down, but I think if we all wrote down what it would be like in 4 years, then we can just see what the outcome would be. So yes, right now, it looks gray, but we don't know what it'll be like in 4 years. None of
them lose their jobs in 4 years. Do you think it's going to be a lot better for those of them that have lost their jobs and they're continuing to have a
government for 4 years?
Not to mention a recession starting.
Anybody here
a recession starting?
Pay FEMA for their insurance, for flood insurance? FEMA does not exist anymore. So
exactly, that's right. FEMA does not exist anymore.
All that money you're paid for flood insurance went down the toilet.
And let me tell you, when the hurricane came, I mean, we had a lot of damage to our house, and what FEMA wanted at the time is wanted to you to take out a loan, and they come out and inspect your house, and for the loan that they're going to give you, you'll be paying on it for years. So it's better just go ahead and fix it yourself.
Yep.
Well,
I will agree with the immigration, that he's done a lot for immigration, but statistics show that Biden actually deported more than Trump has. Plus, Trump has, when they grab people, they don't even check their papers. So they have deported Americans that now they're having trouble getting back in this country. American citizens, people who are here legally, have legal paperwork, they don't care. They pick them up, they take them, they put them in a plane, and they take them out of the country.
Well, I can agree with him on immigration. I do agree a lot on what he's doing and helping stop all the criminals coming in. And if you're going to be here, you need to go about it the correct way. I do agree with him on that. But there's a lot of other things I just don't. I just can't.
He's destroying the government. He is absolutely destroying the government. All of these services you're paying taxes for are gone. And all these tens of thousands of people have lost jobs. I read an article today where his supporters are saying, well, you said there was a lot of fraud, and that's the people you fired. And they're asking, why are these people not being prosecuted? Where are these people? Who are these people? That is all BS.
I can say that probably most of us in our careers or our jobs, we know there are a lot of people above us that get paid a lot of money that do nothing. And I think that Trump has gone through the government or in higher jobs and have gotten rid of those jobs. That people, just like in education and in other jobs, the people that sit around in a desk and get paid 6 figures or 8 figures, that just tell other people what to do. And so I think that is what Trump has done, is he has gotten rid of the people that boss people around that get paid the big bucks and have eliminated those jobs because they're not worth anything. And unfortunately, that's why people have lost jobs. It's because they get paid a lot, but they really don't do anything.
That isn't, if you look at how he fired people, he just went and fired everybody who was listed on probation. There are people who've been working there 5 and 6 years working. They didn't care what they did. They ended up bringing people back because they realized they fired people that they absolutely had to have. FAA is desperate because they can't get traffic controllers. They can't get anybody to work for the government. They fired them and they will not come back.
Wait, so did I hear that right? That you said that people that were making 6 and 8 figures were being fired, and that's the only people that were being released from government jobs? That's absolutely not true.
No.
There were whole-scale departments that were just wiped out completely.
Right. Didn't matter what position they had.
It didn't matter the position, and 99% of those people did not make 6 figures.
Well, I'm saying that there are positions sometimes that make a lot of money, but they don't actually do anything.
Okay.
So
that's an inconsequential number of people when you're talking about the record. This was in March, there were the 3rd highest number of government layoffs ever recorded in the American history. That is a phenomenal number. And then if people turn around and say that there were 150,000 jobs or 160,000 jobs created in March as well, and I find that really hard to believe.
You know why? Because they don't count the unemployed until they're done with their severance. They cannot collect
No, they don't. They they actually count. They count people that are unemployed that have their severance. They absolutely count that as unemployed. If they stop counting people
That's what
as
they said
unemployed,
yesterday on the news. Those
that's
people are not.
you must be listening to Fox or something because that's not true.
That's
The way they count people in unemployment are those that are receiving unemployment benefits that are actively looking for employment. When you
right.
stop actively looking for employment, you're no longer a viable worker, so you get dropped from the unemployment benefits. The problem that you run into is that's not what they were counting. They were counting number of jobs created. And now that does not include government positions. That includes corporate jobs.
Correct.
And when you start talking about those kind of numbers, that's abysmal for a creation in a month. And then you compare that to the number of layoffs in the government, and you have an unemployment rate that is astronomical.
We're going to see that
This
shortly. We're going to see that
we've already
unemployment
started to
number.
see it. It's already happened.
It's going to take a month or two.
No,
But we're
it's
gonna
not
see-
taking a month or two. I'm looking at jobs right now. Personally, I'm looking for jobs. And these jobs out there, they're
Are
not
you
there.
currently unemployed?
I am not. I will be unemployed on the 2nd of May.
On the 2nd of May? Well, I
And
have a question for you because for me, I tend to find that when they lay off people and they'll lay them off at the bottom and then they'll come back 2 weeks later and lay off 200 more. But I always seem to think that why not start at the top where you're top heavy? I'm sorry, where you have your CEOs and your CFOs and your VPs that are making all this money.
yeah,
And for me, I've always said if you start there, you can save a lot of money because they get bonuses, they get travel and car allowances. And when you're down cutting the little people at the bottom and you have to go back a month later and lay off 200 more, then you have to go back 3 weeks later and lay off another 150. To me,
you're exactly right.
it's just not making sense.
I agree with that completely. And
I'm in that position now where I see where I'm
my unemployment is from a merger. So I had two companies merge, and my company was the loser, I guess you could say. And that we laid off. I think there's out of an IT department that would have ended up being about 400 individuals. There will be 100 left at the end of the day.
And I'm surprised that they don't go back and get that 100 because I'm in a predicament where where they lay out 400 and then come back and get 350 and then say, oh, we're gonna leave 100.
Yeah, what the likelihood of happening there is out of those 100, you'll probably have about 80% stay, and then out of those 80% that stay, and then you add a few more from rehires of low level. Then in a year or two after the merger agreement has been fulfilled, they'll do what has happened in the past, where the company will go through another round of layoffs. And that happened. I watched it happen years ago at BP when we went through a merger with BP Amoco, and there was a significant round of layoffs for the merger, which is understood. But 2 years later, almost to the month, they renamed the company and went through another round of layoffs. I was a contractor there, so I wasn't affected, but that I watched it happen. And I expect that to happen with this company that I'm with now. So. Well, that I won't be with now.
Yeah.
Well, I certainly understand because I've seen it happen. I'm going through it. And for me, like I said, Meredith, I see some things that he's doing and I see some things that are not good that affects me.
And these tariffs are going to cost us, economists are saying, $7,000 a year. And
that's
China, and I don't know if people are aware of this, but there are 3 states and one of them's New York, because I have family there, that their electric is supplied by Canada, and Canada just assessed those 3 states a 25% tariff. So their
Yeah,
electric bills are going to go way up very
yeah.
fast.
Canada actually, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, when the first tariffs were announced, Canada said they were going to do that if the tariffs were put in place.
That's correct.
Absolutely.
And they did
They
it.
said it. And I don't blame them.
I don't blame him either for one bit.
Nope.
And Europe now considers us an adversary. We are no
Yeah.
longer considered a great power and a friendly nation. We are now considered an adversary.
There was something put to me this weekend that, and it's, I hesitate to say it because it sounds too much conspiratory. But the way this has worked out, it seems like this is a attempt to destroy America, the United States, and our not only our economy but our reputation, our way of life.
Absolutely.
In order to not just have the BRIC economy take hold, but also for Russia to be able to continue their wars of aggression, and start trying to get focus on our country being an aggressor. And it's not pretty. It's horrible.
That's
But
what
there's
happened with the Ukrainian president. And it
that
just broke my
exactly.
heart.
I can't even think about the president of Ukraine when
I
he was here
mean,
meeting with
He was
them.
in,
It
oh,
makes me
that,
sick to even
That
think
was
about
that was despicable what
It
happened.
was disgusting. It was
Absolutely
embarrassing.
despicable.
It
And
was
every day is a new embarrassment.
yeah.
I don't know if I told you all the story. My daughter skis in Vermont on Sugarbush Mountain, and a few weeks ago, J.D. Vance and his family went there, and the protest was so huge that they couldn't even. They skied for I guess a couple of hours, and then they literally booed him out of there.
I did see that.
People hate him and the government so much, and Vermont's pretty conservative. I've been there.
Where was that?
Vermont.
It's not.
Sugarbush
It's not as
Mountain.
conservative as
It's on
Texas.
TV. But my daughter my daughter actually skied with them. I mean, it's just, when you get off on the thing that goes up and then you go down. And she was just coincidentally, and there was no Secret Service with them. They didn't ski, so they waited at the bottom of the mountain for him. But they did. He and his family had to leave, and I feel
That's
bad
really
for his
weird.
wife and children because it's not fair to them. But
Wait,
this is what's
he didn't
happening.
have Secret Service with him?
He did, but they don't ski.
They don't
No, they
ski.
have them up at the top, the bottom, and in the middle. They should swarm everywhere.
My daughter said it was funny. There was Secret Service at the top of the mountain, Secret Service at the bottom of the mountain, but in between,
In between, they were on their own.
That's funny.
Well, guys,
They can't even bring their dog either.
it's brought up a lot of anger and a lot of bitterness, and it's what's really sad is this country is growing further apart instead of coming together.
it is.
It's very sad. And none of you are affected by this, but I am. Social Security for 55
I am
years.
affected by it greatly. I'm affected by it
50
greatly. Like I said,
50
there's
yeah.
some things that I can't discuss right now, but it definitely affects me. And right now, I feel like I'm definitely walking in the fog, for sure.
So I was telling my husband that I was doing this again, and he said to remember, most politicians are backstabbers, but Donald Trump, he's a front stabber. He's going to let you know what he's going to do.
Yeah.
And
He's a con man.
He's a vindictive stabber too. He's very vindictive.
Mm-hmm. And I thought, in
And
a way,
sorry, but that doesn't bring anybody any comfort. I appreciate that
Right.
he's going to just kill you in your face and, oh, yay! I mean, that
Right.
just
But
doesn't do, that's of
no,
no consolation whatsoever.
No.
no,
And
None,
something you
zero.
can,
like
It almost
something
is
I've
very,
noticed and you can
it's
pay
very,
attention to.
only thing it does is that it promotes more anger, more aggression. You know, people are suffering. People, we don't give a flying F if he's going to do this crap in my face, behind my back. Nobody at this point, that's a moot point. So, and I, you know, not directing this at you, Meredith, but that does not help people at all. What people need are a job, B, a job, C, a job. You know, that is what people need. So it's almost does a disservice to a group of people to bring that up. And again, Meredith, I am not directing anything directly at
it's
you,
okay.
but
Mhm.
it's a very much a disservice, very much. And it's almost humiliating. It's almost very much a condescending comment. So I'm going to go ahead and go. I'm done.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Well, as I've always said, this platform is for everybody, and we don't, let me add one person on here. We don't want anybody to be offended, and I didn't take it as an offensive statement, Meredith. This is a sensitive topic for everybody, and sometimes it can get a bit much, but we must remember that we all have to stand together no matter what the circumstances is. I appreciate everybody's comment, and again, sometimes we don't know what that person might be going through at that time, and that probably just touched a nerve, and I'm pretty sure Iris will be okay. So don't worry about it. I'm one of these people, everybody knows me, I have a very dry sense of humor. I can pretty much take anything. I just let shit fly, I'm sorry. But don't take it personally. Like I said, we don't know exactly what's going on in her life right now that it probably touched the nerve. I know that we have one other person that is very sensitive right now to the point of anything that has to do with Donald Trump, and I can respect that they have not commented, and I can respect that. But I'm going through it myself, but I don't take it that personally, where he's attacking me directly. Yes, it's affecting me. And yes, he is that type of person that does it to your face sometimes, and he's vindictive like that. He has an agenda. He wants to pay everybody back that did him wrong. Anybody that did him wrong, you can rest for sure he's gonna pay him back. And he's gonna let them know up front. So again, you know, I did not take it personally what you said, and it was a comment just your husband said. And
Oh, well, yes, and like my husband and I said, he's not going to come eat at my supper. He's not coming to my Sunday dinner, but that's just the way he acts.
it's just the way it is.
Most politicians are not honest people, you know, but and like we've talked about this before, Donald Trump would not be a friend of mine, but that's just the way he acts. He's up front and he's going to tell it like it is. But I don't personally like him. He's not invited to my house.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, just a comment that he made, and like, politics is a sensitive topic. It's a sensitive topic for everybody. So I said don't take it personally. Roy, are you still there?
I'm here.
Okay, I just didn't see you.
I
I did-
agree about nobody should get offended because everybody has a right. As long as we're a free nation, everybody has a right to their opinion. And you're not going to change my mind, and I'm not going to change yours. And for people to hate each other over it, that's what bothers me more than anything.
Yeah, that's what you're right about that. When people begin to hate each other over it and take it personally, you know, we're all entitled to our opinion. And we sometimes try to keep it lighthearted. And like I said, I didn't take it offensive. I don't think anybody else took offense to it because everybody, single person, know that Donald Trump
Exactly.
is who he is. He is who he say he is. He's very vindictive, and he is going to pay America back. And I agree with 100%, Meredith. He's not going to stab you in the back. He's going to stab you in the front, and he's going to know you're bleeding. And that's just
sometimes
the way it is.
I think he forgets sometimes what he said. And
I don't think,
you know,
honestly,
there's
and
a
I'm
double
not,
take, and then like people
I'm
calling
not saying
out on
this
that.
maliciously. I don't think he's all there. I really do not.
I agree.
I agree with you
seen a
100%.
I agree.
decline in Donald Trump, and I do think that he has some sort of senility. I mean, he's just not. I've known this man all my life because I grew up in New York and I worked in the construction industry, and I'm very familiar with him. And so I knew him before anybody else knew him, and I know the type of person he is. He was not liked in New York.
Right.
And we don't even have a first lady. I don't know how many people are even aware of that.
Right.
Melania
Right.
has never stayed a night in the White House. Not one night.
Now, I didn't know that. I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
I didn't realize
she
that
doesn't
till
stay
the
there.
other day.
No, she don't. No. She didn't stay there the first time.
Right.
Nope.
If she comes into Washington,
Mhm.
she'll come into like get an award or something. She leaves the same day. She lives in New York or she lives in Mar-a-Lago.
Florida.
And he, just to know the kind of person he is, this weekend 4 soldiers who died overseas came back to this country, and the president of the United States was supposed to be at the Air Force Base to meet the bodies. Every president has always done that.
Yep.
And he is golfing in Mar-a-Lago with the Saudis. And that's fact. And every time this man goes golfing, it costs $10 million. That's what it costs this country. $10 million every single time he goes golfing. How many jobs would we save that those people who were laid off in Washington, D.C., with him just not playing one golf game? I can't help but look at it like that. I'm sorry, I get very carried away, I know.
Well, no, that's what the podcast for, the platform's for, to talk about. And I learned something new. I had no idea she didn't stay at the White House. I had no idea.
My husband and I live on Social Security. That is what we live on. And we don't know what we're going to do if they stop it. We're going to live in the streets, literally. We'll lose everything. We've spent our entire lives putting money into a Social Security fund, and our employees match that. I don't know if you know that, but your employer matches everything you put in. And now they say we're not entitled to it.
And that's the scary part. That's one of the things that I'm talking about. You know, what's your future going to be? Where are you going to be 4 years from now? You know,
Yeah.
I know that. I'm not saying you personally, Meredith. I know teachers will have a job because we will always need teachers. We will always need people in the medical field. But you know, what about those of us who are not teachers in the medical field and public servants like policemen and firemen? You know, you worry about 4 years from now. You know what's going to happen. Not even 4 years from now. A year from now. You know,
6 months from now.
6 months from now. I'm
Just about 3 weeks from now.
I'm 64, and I'm just like I said, I'm like walking in the days right now. It's like just what happened. I feel like the rug has just been pulled from under me, you know.
It is.
For somebody who is a planner, who plans and map out every single thing, and then when something happens that's beyond your control, you know, you just feel like you in a daze. What's going to happen? I don't know.
Well, this kind of happened in 2000. I remember when we had the big, the big crash in 2008 with Obama, and because I remember in the teaching world, everything I mean, we will recover. It's the unknown. Everyone hates the unknown. It's scary. It is scary because you're right. I'm a big planner too, Valerie. And when you don't know what's going to happen next, and it's out of our control, it's hard. It's hard. And I think it was Iris that said we put it in God's hands and we just wait.
Well, we just wait. Yeah, we wait. Like I say, you can't really take it personally, we're all in this one big pot together, And the same thing happens to me can happen to the next person, So you just hope for the best, pray for the best.
There is one thing you can do, or several things you can do. You can write if you disagree with what's going on, you find out who your senators and your congressmen, and although Ted Cruz, I wouldn't bother with doing this. I don't even think the Republicans want him, but to keep calling and keep sending letters and telling them how you feel. And it's getting that one thing is really starting to work because the Republicans are being bombarded and they're worried about their election in a year. They want to be reelected and they're afraid they're going to lose both houses.
I have the app called 5 Calls a Day, and you can go in there and it will do your calls and then it will mark them off for you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to get with you on that.
That is a fantastic app.
And you're right. Start local, and that sometimes your voice is heard better when you start local.
Mm-hmm.
Congress are all local people.
Mm-hmm.
And
they have to listen to you.
We have Senator State Representative John Rosenthal, who's a Democrat. Sorry, Meredith, but he comes in here. He's here on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. And what I love about him is that he doesn't care if you're Republican or Democrat or independent. He is there to talk to every single person, and he's here in the building at the Y. And there's been many times I know it's like clockwork. When he walks through the door, Meredith and Mr. James, who are both Republicans, are standing right there and they're ready to talk about. But you do have to start locally, and sometimes you never know, that person might be right there and you don't even know it.
Yes.
Lizzie Fletcher's another one to contact.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
She constantly has town hall meetings.
Well, guys, we're at our time. It has been really a good one this time. I invite you back next Sunday, same time and same place. And if you have a friend, it doesn't matter if it's a male or a female, you want to invite them to call in. We most certainly will welcome them. And again, I don't think anybody took your statement personally, Meredith. It is an open forum for everybody, and everybody's entitled to their opinion. And I thought it was very lighthearted, and so I don't want you to go away thinking that you offended anybody. I hope nobody got offended, but it is what it is. And again, if you want to invite anybody, male or female, we'll be back here Sunday. I'm going to try to use the podcast room as often as I can while I can. And hopefully I can get some Friday nights in here, maybe from 6:30 until maybe 7:30, and call it Friday happy hour, and maybe we'll have a little fun and talk about something more than politics.
I think we should have
more
a few
lighthearted
drinks to do this.
on Friday.
Yeah.
So
you can teach us to cook as good as you do.
well, maybe I can bring some cookies, some treats or something. But anyway, I'm going to try to use the podcast room as much as possible, and I hope I can get support from you guys, and maybe the Y will let us use it as much as possible, since it's been built to my specification and it's so nicely done. I wouldn't want to lose that part, so I'm going to ask for each one of your support and invite anyone you want to just dial in. They don't have to come into the podcast room, but if they want to dial in, they're more than welcome. So I will see you guys next Sunday, same time, 3:30, and bring your topic with you and leave your
Will
feelings
we
at
see
home.
you? Will we see your
Thank
face
you,
tomorrow?
everybody.
What did you
Natalie,
say?
All right.
Natalie, you gonna be there
Bye.
tomorrow?
Yes, I
Thank
will.
you.
Okay, good.
All right. Well, bye,
Bye,
guys.
Valerie.
Have a great Sunday.
Bye, Iris.
Bye.